Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to episode number 229 of the UFO Buster Radio News UFO Report. I don't even know. You'd think I would read this shit before I paste it in there, because I swear to God, I can't remember what the name of this damn episode is. Well, listen, hey, we are fresh off the interview with Dina Ray. Before that, we had Sawyer. Before that, we had, that guy, Leon Beebe. And what a great triple threat that is. But it's going to continue. It's going to keep on going. We got one more person coming up next week. And holy jeez, will you like this person, I'm sure. But let's talk about Dina Ray. Man, what a crazy way to end that episode. I was not expecting that at all. I was sitting there going, what? First of all, Dina Ray came fired up. If you guys were around when she did the first interview here on UFO Buster Radio, she was, she was proper, as they say. Like the English. You guys out there, you talk about people being proper. She was proper. Kind of like, just a nice author. Let's put it that way. She did tell me back then that she liked the term rubber dicker. But she really was prim and proper. She was good to go. And then this last week, she was more like Conor McGregor's proper. That whiskey he's got. She was. Yeah, she was on. She was on. Now, listen, we all have our views. We all have our ways of seeing the things that life presents to us, the challenges, the viewpoint, all that shit. I mean, come on. You can't blame the lady for having an opinion, but then you can blame her for taking that and working it into a book writing career. What a great idea. And that's what she does. She takes life, she takes things, she takes historical things, she takes conspiracies, and then she sticks them into a fictional book. She does research. She comes on crazy-ass podcasts like UFO Buster Radio to talk to some guy named Manny fucking Moonraker. And that's fantastic. That's what I love. I like an author that's going to sit back and say, the shit's going to hit the fan, folks. Yeah, don't be afraid to come on here and let your hair down. Even if you're bald-headed, just let something down. I don't need to see it. Just let it down. Relax. Get yourself a drink before the podcast. As a matter of fact, in my emails right now, starting today, I am going to make sure that every writer that I invite on here, or any researcher or whatever you are, I'm going to encourage that you get yourself some brown whiskey, some brown liquor, some margaritas, whatever the fuck it is you like to drink. Take a cup. Maybe a shot or two before you start, and then have a nice frosty one in front of you, and let your hair down. A lot of people really enjoy seeing the real person, the real researcher. Not the guy that sits there in a jacket and a tie, basically in a suit like they're going to work in a corporate America setting, and then sit there and bullshit you about stuff that you're scratching your head, wondering how the fuck did he come up with that? He looks like a businessman. What the fuck is he saying? I'd rather have you talk a lot of shit, talk about all kind of crazy stuff, half drunk, because maybe then the truth will come out. That's what I want to hear. And I really am not entirely interested in some of the stuff that you're reporting or you're printing or all that kind of nonsense. I'm interested in the person. What drove you to get into this topic? What drove you to start writing shit? That's why I kept on asking Dina. Why? So she thinks 2035, the shit's going to hit the fan, NWOs, New World Order, all over the place. I'm okay with it, fuck it. Maybe if there's a new world order, maybe we won't have the kind of shit that is being reported in a news article for today. Maybe we need one world government to stomp and to freaking go around the damn universe saying we're not about to be fucked with. Leave our cattle alone. Stop fucking with our cattle. Stop probing our people. I mean, I don't know if that really happens. I'm just saying. There's enough witnesses that says that happens that we can actually go in public and say that. Let's be honest. Historically, over the decades, there's enough people saying they're being probed, enough cattle being mutilated to say there's a fucking issue. But nobody says that. Or at least the people that say it, they don't have a loud enough voice, I guess. They're not out there every day. They're not out. I mean, come on. Let's become the Stephen Bissetts for anti-anal probing. That's what we should do. We should go out like Stephen. We should start, go to government, go to Congress, start lobbying them for anti-probing laws. We got to have something, right? Shit, you can't just come into our planet and probe the fuck out of us. Somebody should lobby those motherfuckers to put their pen and paper down and say, we aren't going to take it. We're not going to be probed. And this might be a little funny, right? Might be a little on the light side, I guess. I mean, but is it something you should take seriously? I mean, how many people need to report that this shit's going on before somebody says, fuck, maybe they are getting probed. What the hell's going on? I know you hear my glass and ice and drink. It's kind of hot here in Texas, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not in Texas, fuck, you're probably feeling a little cooler right now. Unless you're in the fucking desert, then you're fucked. By the way, you've seen the title for this particular episode, and that's because this article says that people in America don't give two fucks. The title for this episode is Americans Say UFOs Ain't Shit to Worry About. And that's a news article that I got. And it's kind of like, it's not exactly a news article. It was a report by a certain group that's known to like to do shiitake like that, right? They like reporting stuff. And so we are going to talk about something they just put out a day ago. And again, I'm also on here because I need to talk about our next guest, which is coming up on Monday. Yeah, it's a doozy. He is going to be quite fascinating. That's right, on Monday, late in the evening, because this individual is located out on the West Coast, but we'll get to that in a second. The article that I'm talking about says very few see UFOs as a threat to the United States. Talk about brass fucking balls. I mean, that is a country-sized pair of balls. Hopefully not too hairy. But you got to have a size. You got to have some. I just don't get it. I'm like shocked. And in a way, I'm not, because I've said it here time and time again. People don't give two flying fucks about aliens. They don't care that military service women and men who are trained for this, not just people that just got off the bus and landed in basic training and have been out for like a month or two. We're talking about fucking people who are flying $35 million jets, who we trust to fly. Let me repeat that again. $35 million jets, maybe a little less, because it was a few years ago. Okay, fly $18 million jets. The folks that we trust to protect us, to secure our skies, to secure our borders, we don't believe what the fuck they're saying. We take it all as a fucking joke. That's right. Rasmussen. You guys know them. They like putting out surveys. Rasmussen, I would like a job with you guys. I just want to go around and survey fuckers all fucking day. That's what I want to do, right? If anybody in Rasmussen is listening, can you please contact me so I can submit my survey? I've got a lot of probing to do of people, and I think your company is the right platform for me to probe people with. So here's what they're saying. A number of top senators were briefed by the Pentagon recently because of UFO sightings, Navy pilots, and all. And I said this 2 weeks ago. That's all they fucking talk about. Every fucking story about UFOs has to start with this. Apparently, it matters to some fucking body, right? Somebody gives a fuck somewhere for them to always put the Nimitz situation into every article that I see. It always starts or it ends that way. Right? So Rasmussen decided, fuck it, let's do like everybody else, because they're making money off these motherfuckers. So let's go ahead and put the Nimitz situation in there, but we won't call it out. We'll be a little cool about it. We'll just say that the Navy's been seeing a lot of shit. And the pilots are going bananas. But then they add this. Very few Americans feel threatened by unidentified flying objects. But they do, however, believe there's intelligent life out in space. What? Really? There's intelligent life here too, people. And some of that intelligent life doesn't give a fuck about you either. Like some of the intelligent life on our own planet would kill you, slit your throat, rob you, beat you. But they're intelligent. They're intelligent life, right? So why would people who believe that there's aliens out there that they're not a threat? Now, I'm not saying that these guys are not running around, with, freaking ponytails, pigtails, and shit like that, and freaking shitting Skittles and rainbows out their asses. But I'm saying there's probably a good few of them that could give two fucks about hairless apes who apparently can't barely leave their own solar system, but are surrounded by such pretty water. Right? I mean, I swear that the water that we're surrounded by seems to be in high demand for some reason. Not just in our own planet, but I think everywhere. But still, why would you not give two shits about that? Why is it why is it such a nonchalant attitude? Like it doesn't really matter that ET's out there. So Rasmussen reports decided to run a national survey in the U.S. and they used telephone. They called people. What do you think about UFOs? And some of them said, I don't give two fucks. Can I get tickets to go see Endgame? Right? And then some of them said, I don't give a shit, but you know what? They're out there. Yeah, I believe they're out there and they're watching us, but I don't care. How can you not care? That just makes no sense. Anyway, the survey says that 12% of American adults, thank goodness they didn't get the kiddies involved, regard UFOs as a national security threat. Only 12% of American adults. 12%. That sounds about right. And then they say that 61% do not. But a notable 27% have no idea what the fuck is going on. Isn't that crazy? It turns out that the survey was only about 1,000 people that they questioned. And this was recent. This wasn't something they did a few years ago that they say, hey, let's get onto the Nimitz thing and let's just put out this report that we had. This actually was done between the 23rd and the 24th of this year. June is the month. I'm saying it like this because I jumped all over that shit and I didn't put it in order. So for you guys who are like lost right now, June 23rd to the 24th of this year. That's when they did the survey of these 1,000 people. Then that's the answers they got. Yeah, there's intelligent shit out there. But you know what? If you take 27% of 1,000, so 270 of them, they have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're walking around, wearing the purple Barney suits and, really holy shorts or whatever. I don't know. They're the ones that are probably strongly medicated, I guess. 610 of them pretty much say they're not a threat. So if 61% of Americans, imagine 61% of the world thinks that UFOs are not a threat. How can you ever make a case for them even existing if they're not a threat? I mean, because people talk about unicorns all the time, but they're not a threat. Vampires, maybe. Zombies? Yeah, I don't know. That's the problem right now. No one even gives a shit about UFOs. No one cares about aliens. 20% of the people, 27% of the people will be ready. They're going to be there telling the other, 88% saying, you guys got probed. Gotcha. But it'll be too late, right? Because if they got probed, guess what? The 20-some-odd%, they're going to get probed too, just for shits and giggles. So that's the state of the America today. My question is it the same in your country? Wherever you're at. If you're out across the pond in the UK, if you're in Australia, if you're like in South Africa, if you're in Chile and all those places down south, in South America, if you're in Japan and China, what is it that your country thinks? What is the I have a feeling it's the same. I don't think it's any different. I think you can take these numbers for these 1,000 Americans and you can put that across the entire planet, and that's the way it is. To be honest, the only ones that have pride in our own service, women and men, is the Americans, right? So I'm sure that the rest of the planet is thinking, the fucking Americans, they're probably all fucking drunk anyway. They're so full of shit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? But I'd like to know, how is it that your culture or your society sees this situation with UFOs? Because apparently there is something seriously wrong, right? If we have people who specialize, who are trained, who are in the air protecting, using weaponry day after day as part of their daily lives, and they see something that's fucking out of this world, and we say, you guys are nuts. I don't know. The system is broken somewhere. Something's not right. Something is just not cool with this. Not at all. So let me tell you about our guest on Monday, international award-winning author who was featured at Contact in the Desert. If you guys went out to Contact in the Desert, I really think that they need to change the name of that. Contact in the Desert does not sound like a friendly thing, like you actually did it and gave someone permission to contact you. But anyway, Contact in the Desert. Preston Dennett is a UFO and paranormal investigator. He has 22 books under his belt, folks. 22. He was featured just recently in Contact in the Desert. That happened at the end of May, early June. And he began investigating UFOs and the paranormal in 1986 when he discovered his family, friends, and co-workers were having dramatic, unexplained encounters. Hey, Preston, if you're listening, that's what I know. Let's talk about that. Before we jump into the books, we need to talk about that, because to have your family, friends, and co-workers in the 80s have all these experiences all at one time, that's fucked up. I'd write about that shit too. I'd freaking write all day about it. I'll be talking to people all the time, even while they're getting probed. But that's who is going to be here on Monday. I'm writing a template communication for those of you who are Tuesday morning, like if you're not there Monday night to listen to Preston live, if you need a letter of excuse for your boss to let him know that you're going to be listening to Manny Moonraker and his special guest, Preston Dennett, email me, ufobusterradio@gmail.com, or hit me up on one of the social media platforms, the page, Manny Moonraker, or the page, UFO Buster Radio, or Twitter. Send me your contact info or your boss's email, and I will let them know that you will not be productive Tuesday morning because you're going to be listening to Preston Dennett talk about the shit that went down in 1986 that started his career and that pretty much produced 22 fucking books. If you need that email, you let me know. I will write that email for you. And you can, or I can, send it to your boss and we'll let them know to stop fucking around. Production is going to be down on Monday and Tuesday morning. So I'm there for you. Hey, this is Manny Moonraker. This is the end of the episode. I thank you guys for stopping by. I know it's Saturday. I'm going to go finish my drink. And I'm feeling a little gangster thanks to Dina Ray. And again, I want to say my apologies to the Pope. Sorry that he had to intervene in that interview. But shit happens, Pope. Shit happens. Ciao.